close off with the top 10 list real quick.
Okay.
This is from Nerve.com. Nerve.com. It is the 50 greatest cult movies of all time. I will read off the top 10.
Okay.
Number 10 from 1975. It's Roger Corman's Death Race 2000.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Number 9. Probably the cultiest big-name American director of his generation. A Clockwork Orange. Cult
Yeah.
movie.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'll go with that. Yeah.
You're not a cult movie until you ban yourself from from the country in which you live. When he pulled his own movie out of movie theaters, and for the studio to go along with it, I mean, that was pretty amazing. Number 8, Kevin Smith's Clerks.
I don't see it as a cult film. I don't really see this. I mean, it's a very popular film in the sense, and it did actually very well when it was released. I mean, it was very popular when it came out. I mean,
and it does play. If you go to New York City, you will see it playing a lot at midnight shows still.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's true. But you see that with a lot of movies. You wouldn't necessarily assume are cult films, though. That's an interesting choice. I wouldn't think that, but okay. I mean,
yeah, I mean, I used to bring in Howard's Inn to play at midnight, and it didn't do very well.
Yeah,
it's strange.
You know, I did.
I thought I'd pack the house. Number 7, Cronenberg's The Brood.
Yeah,
well,
definitely.
That's strange. That's a bizarre choice.
I could see that, though.
I don't think that I don't know anybody who can recite lines from The Brood, so I would say no on that one.
Would Scanners have been a better?
I don't know that any of his movies would really break the top 10.
I would put Videodrome actually maybe as the one I would go with.
I don't know. I mean, I just don't. If we're talking about the top 10 cult movies of all time, a cult movie is a movie, of course, that people go back to again and again. Who they remember the lines. They, wherever it's playing, they stand in line for it. I just don't think that's happening with any of Cronenberg's movies.
Not even M. Butterfly.
Yeah, what's a Dangerous Method, or
Now,
I really like the cult audience. The cult audience for Naked Lunch, and the part of the movie where they all shoot their girlfriends in the head. That's a great.
Now, Dangerous Method is actually very funny. That, if you really, when I think about it now, that should be that. Okay, Cronenberg can definitely be in that category now. Okay, I forgot about a Dangerous Method.
Number 6, Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia.
Definitely.
Really?
Definitely. Yes. No, dude. This movie has a cult following. I would not have said this before the age of the internet, but everyone lists this movie. Now, can you quote from it? No, not necessarily. Oh, there's some parts you can quote from, but you have to be incredibly drunk or stoned, I think. But yes, this is the Peck and Paul cult movie. Everyone.
Really, even more than the fucking Wild Bunch, for God's sake. I mean,
the Wild Bunch
is
not a cult movie. The Wild Bunch is A+ 4-star movie. It is not. I would never put Wild Bunch in the same category. Only movie he made completely sober. And I'm not thinking. I think that's true. That's the only movie he didn't touch anything while making that movie. So I would.
But I think that Wild Bunch was recognized for being as revolutionary as it was when it came out. I mean,
yeah.
I don't think it was one of those. I think these should be all underappreciated upon first release, but then they gain a following that catapults.
Yeah, I agree.
I hear and Alfredo Garcia, if memory serves, it was panned when it came out.
Yeah,
it's considered one of the worst movies ever made when it came out.
And now it's held in kind of high regard as a very kind of down and dirty, skeezy peck and paw.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I don't think a lot of people have watched that movie, so I would
more
not.
Than you would think. More than you would think.
I would not put it in the top 10 of all time.
Okay.
Number 5 is the 1935 classic from James Whale, The Bride of Frankenstein.
Well, that's a I mean, that's a huge cult movie for sure, I think. But
going back
again,
to
in the top 10, I'm not sure about that.
That was well regarded when it came out. Those movies were well regarded when they came out, though. Those were.
But that's not the definition of a cult film. A cult film is not something that was. A cult film is not something that was forgotten that was overlooked when it came out. A cult film is I would consider a cult film. These two movies, two of the most popular movies of all time, to be cult movies: Gone with the Wind and Star Wars, because wherever they play, there are fans that line up, the place packs out, and people remember every line and are clapping and are nuts about it and are dressing up as the characters and that kind of thing. To me, that's a cult movie.
I disagree.
Okay. Let me say what these people
would be on that too.
I mean, I think generally cult movie is a movie that didn't do well because it existed outside the mainstream. That's my definition of it. But cult movie for these people is they say it's a hard thing to pin down. For the purposes of this list, where we're celebrating the 10th anniversary of Donnie Darko, this was made in 2011, this list. We've put a premium on the intensity and selectiveness of a movie's appeal. I don't know what the hell that means, but okay. Yeah.
So it has to be an intense movie that's also like it has to be a movie that's largely unpleasant. and that's why people like it, because it's unpleasant.
Oh, well, Sabotage has to be here somewhere.
Man, I agree with Jamie. Jamie's definition of cult is the one I would really go with. Because I would put, I definitely see, The Big Lebowski, Repo Man, movies that did not play very long in the theater or died dead on arrival but gained a cult following. They found a new life on home video or in revival houses. I could never put Star Wars as a cult film, just never. It's just too big a movie. Same with Gone with the Wind. I couldn't do that.
I mean, there's a difference between cult and event pictures. I understand what you're saying, Dean. I understand.
But where the word we use the word cult. The reason the word cult is used is because there's a literal cult of followers that
I get it.
Know everything about the movie, that go and see it every time.
Transformers in that category, because I'm sure that those movies have a following too, or the Pirates of the Caribbean films.
Yeah, but they don't. I don't think that people remember lines from those movies and stuff like that.
Pirates of the Caribbean, yes, they do. Those movies then have a very huge,
there's not a movement around them like Star Wars, even though Transformers has its own ride.
But I mean,
has its own ride at Universal.
Yeah. I mean, it's a movie based on a ride, but yeah.
All right. Well, their number 4 is questionable as well, even though it's one of those responsible for changing American filmmaking without a doubt, and that's Breathless, French New Wave.
Mm-hmm. It's a cult film for sure.
It is a cult film just because, it's not, it changed a lot of things that Tarantino likes to remake as much as he likes the original, still the devil's in me. But,
Number 3 is Terry Gilliam's Brazil.
Yeah, definitely.
I would definitely throw that into the at least in the top 20 somewhere.
Number 2 is The Big Lebowski.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Absolutely. That's the definition. That's the true definition of a cult movie.
Yeah. Well, then that leaves the question: what is their number 1?
Well, obvious what it's going to be.
What would be more culty than The Big Lebowski? The only thing that comes to my mind is Rocky Horror, but that's not what they chose. Rocky Horror is not in their top 10.
That's not in the. Now that's absurd.
That's the ultimate cult movie.
I think so too.
Yeah. What's number 1?
Let me see where. I mean, Eraserhead's on their list. That deserves to be there. I'm looking down.
That should be in the top 10. Eraserhead.
Or Liquid Sky.
Pink Flamingos should be in the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, they got some good ones here from Mommy Dearest to Monty Python but they're I'm at 32 right now, and there's no Rocky Horror. Repo Man is on here.
Repo Man should be. That would be high up there for me.
Rocky Horror is 38.
That's just these people know what they're doing. I want to know what the number one is now.
The number one is Barbarella.
Oh, that's stupid. I mean, that's a big movie, but that's dumb. 45 maybe. Yeah. I mean, there is a big cult movie, but people, that's absurd.
I would think Rocky Horror
top five would be Rocky Horror, Pink Flamingos, Big Lebowski, Eraserhead, and why the hell not? Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Yeah, I mean that's what I think of. I don't think of these other things. That Rocky Horror
would be in there. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That's an odd choice.
It is odd. I would also throw in Donnie Darko too. Like I think
Donnie Darko for sure. That movie really does fit of recent films.
Donnie Darko is their number 11. Yeah.
Let me ask you, is Fight Club at all in there by any chance?
Yes, it's in
Fight
there.
Club is a good one too.
Because that's a movie that they had that was so badly marketed, died on arrival. That's a definite.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well. Maybe to throw that into the top 10 even.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I just don't. Yeah, all you have to do is go look at your local Landmark or Angelica, what they have on their midnight shows every weekend, and that would be your best bet to what is considered by this day and age a cult movie, really.
Something like Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one, too.
Cult of Ed Wood, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
yep.
I mean,